Staying with this story, the Johannesburg Transport MMC, Kunene, has defended his presence during the arrest of a suspect. The Deputy Patriotic Alliance leader says he was accompanying a journalist working on a story for his online publication.
You would have seen that my Africa News Global has not been active because since I took office, I haven't had the time to focus on it. I've lost some journalists, journalists that were working for me. So those that have asked for jobs, I have then decided that let me rather give it to them so that they can run it. And obviously, Africa Global, News Global has always focused on exclusive news. And that's one of those exclusives where there was an opportunity to interview Mr. Molefe by this young journalist.
Well, let's get reaction now, and we're joined by the Democratic Alliance's Joburg caucus leader, Belinda Kayser Echeozonjoku. Belinda, good evening to you. Mr. Kunene has explained himself. He is a fellow council member. Do you buy his story?
Good evening, Polly, and good evening to the viewers. No, we don't buy his story. We believe it's laughable. Firstly, what is a concern for me is that in the middle of the day, he's explaining even how he got there. That is very concerning for us because we're sitting with major crises currently in the city. And during the day, the MMC of Transport has the time to visit a murder suspect, take a journalist who's supposed to be independent, if it is a journalist, to a murder suspect's house. That is in itself very concerning for us, and we can go into the ethical issues of that. But it's very concerning for us that the executive, one of the members of the executive, who has no time to at least explain to some of the residents why their potholes are not fixed, why the Lili Ngoi is still where it is today, and why half of Sandton is without water for 6 days, has the time to go and visit with a journalist a murder suspect. That is a very concerning matter for us, and that is why we are saying he must step down.
Well, I don't purport to speak on his behalf by any measure, but I suspect he may want to use what he did in the recent past when he was acting mayor, using his time to go around making sure that those who are stealing electricity, as he put it, were switched off. And so he'll say he has been working. But let's get into the ethics of this. What exactly is going to be a problem here ethically for a council member to be rubbing shoulders with such people? Although, of course, again, his defense is going to be he hadn't been arrested at the time.
That's a big problem for us. The fact that your association with people as an elected public representative, there are laws that at least you're supposed to adhere to because it could compromise not only the office, the integrity of the office of the executive mayor. You know that you've just mentioned that he's been acting mayor at some point. Every single MMC that is on that executive has the delegation and to an extent quite a bit of powers of the executive mayor. So somebody that think it's okay to go and visit, accompany a journalist who's supposed to be independent to interview a murder suspect when the temperature in the country is currently where it is, while we're sitting with service delivery issues in Johannesburg, couldn't think for himself being associated in a compromising situation like that is okay for a member of the executive. That's a big problem for us. We've done it. We've said that when Kabelo Gwamanda was in a situation where he was also compromised, we've asked for him to step down because we believe in the rule of law. And we're saying here, you're associating where there's already an investigation, step down, allow this investigation to be done. And if you need to possibly be interviewed as part of the investigation, then you'll be able to exonerate yourself. But for now, he needs to step down.
You're saying Kunene needs to step down?
He needs to step down, and if he does not step down, we are saying to the Executive Mayor, Dada Morero, he has the power to appoint and remove MMCs. He must do exactly what he did when other MMCs were out of line and were compromised, and he must fire him. That's exactly what we're saying.
You use the word compromising, and you've painted a picture of a temperature in the country. I want to latch on to that temperature. General Mkhwanazi in KZN has accused a senior politician in this country. This is a person at the level of minister, that he is in cahoots with criminal networks. And lo and behold, a council member in Johannesburg is found at the house of someone that on the same day was going to be arrested. How bad does this look for a political party? I know you don't speak for the Patriotic Alliance, but how bad does it look for politicians? Remember, trust levels as well
100%.
at an all-time low.
Yeah, I agree with you. Trust levels is at an all-time low. But I must tell you, we are not surprised. The Patriotic Alliance has their own way of doing things. We've had major issues in some of these by-elections where there were allegations of them buying candidates off not to contest at the last minute. So we are not surprised that they find the current council member find himself in such a compromising position, associating himself with somebody who's currently a major part of an investigation, being a suspect and possibly being the kingpin. We don't know this. These are allegations. Yeah. But finding himself in the house of somebody being investigated, the public trust is already at an all-time low. We are previously in JRA that Mr. Kunene, Councillor Kunene, is heading up. We've had concerns with regards to contractors that are not completing their work. They are not reported to National Treasury for not completing their work. And then you see another contractor being appointed. Now we're saying, is it just about the contractor completing their work, or is there some form of association elsewhere to give somebody else a chance to also continue with the work? And this is exactly what we're saying, the level of public trust and the way this looks, the ethical dilemma this is bringing in, and also the integrity of the office of the executive mayor being compromised. That is why he has to go, because we don't know what else might be lurking, what else could be exposed over the next couple of days, because we don't believe, if you just watch that interview of Mr. Kunene this afternoon in some of the other news rooms where, I believe he was in another news channel, and he's changed his story a few times. First he said he's not his friend, and then he says they've met at some party, and then he said it's a business associate. Exactly what is his relationship with this gentleman that is now compromised, a suspect of a very high-profile murder, and a person who has influence, a politician, is found at his house. You cannot tell me that it's just a coincidence, and we believe that his presence there, firstly, is laughable, but also it begs the question, why does a politician have to accompany a journalist to a murder suspect house to have him interviewed? How independent is that publication?
Belinda Kayser Echeozonjoku, thank you very much for your time. Interesting indeed.